Theology, the study of the nature of God and religious truth, rational inquiry into religious questions. Today, I'm going to present to you a theology, but first, a word of caution. I think it's all garbage, just like this photograph. I don't know what this is supposed to be, if it's a carpet or a sweater or surface of the moon, I don't know. And same with theology, really. I think at best it's kind of this intellectual exercise, but just a pile of ideas rising higher and higher and higher, but trying to understand something that's really infinite and eternal and beyond our ability to put into limited words. And so, at worst, it becomes something that we just attach to and that stops us in trying to understand truth for ourselves. So, really, I agree with the Zen masters when they speak in paradoxes and riddles and say things like, no smoking, please use ashtray, to illustrate that things don't always make sense. Sometimes you just have to live rather than trying to fit everything into some conceptual framework. So, that said, yeah, theology's bullshit, but it's like Taco Bell. It's kind of a guilty pleasure. So, that said, this is the story of the Garden of Eden. Not the version you probably learned in church, but the version taught by the Gnostics, some of the first Christians, who believe there's not just one God, but two, the infinite and supreme God of possibilities, and the demiurge, the creator God who organizes those possibilities into a universe, who constructs the physical world. You could think of it that the true God is like the subconscious mind, and the demiurge is like the cosmic ego. In any case, the demiurge is considered to have rebelled against the true God and created a world that was corrupt and limited, and created the Garden of Eden as a prison for the first humans, for Adam and Eve, governed by physical pleasure and by rules about what they could do and what they could think and what they could eat. They never aspired to anything outside the limits of their garden. And so, the true God assumed the form of a snake and offered them the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil, not to tempt them into sin and bring about damnation, but to free them from the limits of their world and enable them to seek truth and wisdom for themselves. And so, from a Gnostic perspective, Christ was also this true God, come into the world to free us of the world and of the limits of the creator demiurge. And from a Gnostic perspective, all those who follow Christ's path will eventually be saved, and all those who don't, stuck here with the demiurge. Forever. And ever. See, that's what I don't like about this theology, or really about Christian theology in general. Is like you have all this excitement and all this dramatic struggle of good and evil, and in the end, everyone's either saved or they're damned, and that nothing ever changes for the rest of eternity. Not only does it not seem very compassionate to create beings just for them to be damned, it's boring. So, instead I'm going to end on the story of the Yazidi creation story. Now, the Yazidi believe in everything that I just said, but they locate it in the distant past. And they believe that the demiurge actually repented of his rebellion against the true God, and wept for 1,000 years, drowning out the fires of hell, and then set about creating a new world in which everyone had access to wisdom and salvation by listening to their own heart and pursuing that which is good to the extent that they're capable of knowing it in their own lives. And so, the demiurge, the fallen angel, became the peacock angel, the benevolent guardian of our world.